A lot of the times I feel like me calling myself a Christian is being a hypocrite. I'm gonna explain this by saying, I make these videos all the time, and sometimes I ask myself, who am I to preach the gospel? Because I sin all the time. Some sins I even preach about, and I still sometimes fall short. I talked about this to my friend, who he also makes videos, and he struggles with sin just like everyone else, right? And he said, something that kind of resonated with me, because a lot of the times I make these videos, and only when I feel qualified, right? Because say I fall into lust or something that day, I don't feel qualified to make a video. I don't feel like I should even make a video because I feel just so deep in my shame and my guilt, right? But then I make a video days where I do feel qualified. But God doesn't call the qualified. He calls the unqualified, and He makes you qualified. It sounds weird, but think of Paul in the Bible, where he murdered Christians, he persecuted Christians. He was the definition of unqualified, and God still chose him. God chose fishermen to be Jesus' closest followers, the most unqualified there is. They don't know anything about the gospel. They don't have an education, because fishermen were poor back then. If you weren't, that's like one of the lowest class people. God keeps consistently calling the unqualified, and I feel like a hypocrite sometimes. Hey, you should. There's a better way to live, yada yada yada, and then I sometimes fall back into my old ways. And there's a lot of the times where I fall into lust, I fall into pride. I give into temptations when I'm out here supposed to be a leader for others. And it's really, really hard not to get discouraged. I know God has a plan for my life. I know God has something really big for my life. But sometimes it doesn't feel that way. Sometimes it feels like I'm never going to stop messing up, or I'm never going to be perfect, which I'm never going to be perfect. Only Jesus is perfect. Only God is good. Everything I do is in vain. Every time I try to be a perfect Christian, it's in vain. Because only Jesus is going to be perfect, right? All I can do is just do my best to get closer to God, and I know He's going to work through me. But then it gives me some encouragement looking back on, say, from last year. I'm such a different person now than I used to be. And it is encouraging. The sin that is holding you down, that you keep running back to fulfill you, it's not going to fulfill you. I guarantee you that the peace that you get from following Jesus and pursuing Jesus is so much more worth it, dude. Especially now that I've felt that peace when I'm not at peace. I notice it, and it's super. I hate it. It's so uncomfortable. Literally last night, I just felt heavy. I just felt something, and it was horrible. I was just more angry. My mom was like, "Hey, when you walked in the house, I just felt angry." I was like, there was something spiritual going on. I don't really know, but man, it's really now today. I have that peace because I chose to follow Jesus. In Proverbs says the righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up again, rises again. So, not exactly 7 times, but every time you fall, get back up. Because that shame, that guilt, it's all from the enemy, and I just have to realize that and remind myself that. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Adios.